Greetings, adventurers. This is Adventure Log for 24th January 2026. Had an absolutely awesome day today. It is now about 12 minutes to midnight. Just got back up to the hotel room about 15-20 minutes ago. Did a little bit of settling in, made sure that I texted my wife, let her know that I'm locked into the room. Today started out actually running a little late. I had turned on my 6 o'clock alarm, not realizing that it was set for Monday through Friday, and today is Saturday. But my everyday 7 a.m. alarm clock woke me up, got moving, got a shower, went to breakfast, met a absolutely lovely couple from Brazil, older couple. We sat down and had a nice chat about a lot of different things. Very awesome people. I let them know that one of our long-term plans is to try to set foot on all 7 continents. And when we get around to South America, I will reach out to them. Hopefully be able to connect up when we head down to South America. But then I headed over to the parks. I wanted to reserve a park for Epcot to get in there for the festival. But it was, they were out of reservations for Epcot. So I had to reserve a spot for Magic Kingdom. So I had to go all the way to Magic Kingdom, parked at a transportation center, drove there from the hotel, parked transportation center, did touch point at Magic Kingdom, took a few pictures over there, a little bit of video as I was going in, and then got right on the monorail, went over to Epcot because I'm an annual pass holder with Park Hopper, and you don't have to wait until 1 p.m. anymore to head over. It's just subject to park capacity. So they weren't at capacity yet, so I went in. I went in for my primary objective for this trip, other than, of course, to make content. But I also wanted to get the limited edition pins and limited release pins, must clarify, for the Festival of the Arts for this season. Festival of the Arts it's a fun festival, but it only goes over the course of, I believe, 5 weekends. It's a real short festival. It's the shortest out of the entire year. Before we go back to Diet Epcot, when there's not a festival going on. And then we will have Flower and Garden come the spring. But we wanted to get the pins for it because we're pin collectors. I also made sure to get my wife the new Figment popcorn bucket, which I have a couple pictures of. I did a couple shots with the Figment popcorn bucket, both in Odyssey, where I picked it up, and also out front of the park, because out in the very front of Epcot, as soon as you walk in through the touch point, they've got a beautiful display set up for the festival. It's got Figment with a paintbrush and some painted rainbows and a couple huge cans of paint. It's basically for the arts festival. Very cool decorations, very, very well done, and got a picture there with the paintbrush lit up. This popcorn bucket is really, really something spectacular. So I managed to do that, and then I started going around and tasting some of the foods around the festival. Did a couple videos of that. I think I actually got a couple of them posted out. I need to go back through at some point and see which ones I haven't posted out and get them posted out fast, because with it being such a short festival, I want people to have the information that they will, so this way they can decide, hey, do I want that? Is this, if I'm already going to the festival, is this something that I'm going to like? Maybe my opinion might help influence others. But while I was chatting with people, as I do, I talk to strangers. My mother raised me better, but I'm a social butterfly. I believe in diplomacy. It's better to go around and just meet the friends you haven't met yet. And it was a good thing that I did, because I found out that the folks from the folks from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Discord, a group of other like-minded nerds like myself, very much into Star Wars. They actually got together and organized an unofficial event tonight. I think it was put together kind of almost the last minute. I hadn't seen anything about it in the last couple weeks. Well, the last time I checked the Galaxy's Edge Discord for anything, I think was a couple weeks ago, and I saw that they had people were talking about going down there for the meetup just over the last couple days. So, but it was really cool because what they were gathering for was to celebrate Ahsoka Tano Day, which is actually 29th January, and this is the 18th celebration of it. But it was decided to do it on Saturday because more people could get to the park. And I think it was also done today because there were a lot of people escaping the snowstorm that is currently ravaging the center of the country. Um, so they decided to have it this weekend. I don't think the weather really had any impact on their decision to do it, but there was quite a few people there that were a lot of fun, to interact with. Lots of other Star Wars fans, lots and lots of lightsabers. I got a bunch of video of it as best as I could, because I went there with two lightsabers and I was dual wielding for a while. So it's hard to wield two lightsabers and a camera, whether it's a phone or a GoPro on a stick or anything like that. Um, but even just getting there was a little bit of an adventure because I was at Epcot, so I had to take the monorail back to Magic Kingdom, to Transportation Center, where I had parked my pickup truck. Um, and it's a Jeep Gladiator. If you want to call it a Jeep, call it a pickup, call it a truck, call it a vehicle, whatever. But I had parked over at Ticket and Transportation Center. So I had to take the monorail back to Magic Kingdom, get in my vehicle, come back to the hotel, which is over here on the southwest side of Orlando, grab my lightsabers, grab my glow sticks, because I left them here. I had no intention of doing anything with glow sticks today. So I was actually even wearing an entirely different shirt. I was wearing my Tron shirt because I was going in at Magic Kingdom. And I figured once I got tired of the crowd at Epcot, I'd go back over to Magic Kingdom and ride Tron. And that was something that even my wife suggested to me at one point when I was talking to her and telling her how crowded the place was. Hollywood Studios wasn't that crowded once I got there. But so after the hotel, I drove over to Hollywood Studios, and I got there. I was starting to roll in at about 7:30, and the parking lot gates were shut down. They were completely vacated by that point. The park was only going to be open until 9 p.m. anyway. So I guess they figured, the last 2 hours, if anyone wants to come in, they can park for free. So keep that in mind. If you just want to go to the park for a little bit, wait until after 7, and who knows, you might end up finding all of the lanes at the gates closed. Park, walked in, started talking to other people that I saw with lightsabers and saying, hey, you should come check this out. I think a couple of them actually went over to it. Then I finally made it back. I actually had to stop at Backlot Express and have dinner. It was after 8, and come to find out, Backlot Express actually closes at 8, but they still had people coming in and they still had food to get rid of, so they just kept selling food, which worked out for me. But I was talking with a couple of the servers that were there while I was waiting for my order to be ready, and we were just having fun chatting. Of course, one of them was talking, noticed my Bear in the Big Blue House pin. It is the pin on my lanyard that gets the most comments, not, oh, wow, you did 2 half marathons. You're a pretty big guy. How did you manage that? Or, wow, that's 5 lightsaber build pins. They don't really have 5 different types to choose from, do they? No, not that. No, Bear in the Big Blue House, because it's what I grew up with. That's what people love to talk about. And you know what? I love talking about it too, because I actually bought it for my daughter. We used to watch that show all the time when I was a stay-at-home dad. Best job I ever had. We watched it just about every day. And it was a great show, and we really enjoyed it. And then when she was old enough to come to Disney and we saw they had a Bear in the Big Blue House pin, I bought it for her. Many years later, when she was into her young teen years and we were coming back to Disney World, she had accumulated a number of trading pins that were gifted to her or that she bought whenever she came with us or with other people. And she was going through and she was sorting out what she didn't want to have as her keep pins. And she wanted to trade away her Bear in the Big Blue House pin. So she put that in the trade pile. I snatched it up and said, "What would you like for it? I'll trade it." And then I went ahead and put it on my bling and even locked it on there so it doesn't fall off. But so they were talking to me. We were having a good time chatting with each other, and one of them was nice enough to give me a cupcake for free. Not gonna argue with that. Scarf down dinner. Talked to my wife briefly. She gave me a call just to see how the day was going, and she was wondering why I was at Galaxy at Hollywood Studios, and I was like, "I sent you a text message." She was like, "Oh, oops, I didn't check. It's okay." It turns out she was actually across the street with our neighbors, having fun playing games with them, visiting with their kids, and just having a good time, which is absolutely great because it's miserable weather up there right now, and she doesn't get out much, so it's good for her to hang out and socialize with people. Um, but we talked briefly, and then I headed over for the lightsaber meetup because it was supposed to start at 8:45. If you have been to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you know the layout of the area. They had a line of people that were lining up to be organized into a group photo. And based on the Facebook event that I saw, I think it said like 42 people or something, 43 people said they were going. There wasn't 42, 43 people. There wasn't 143 people. There were at least over 200. They said they were grouping us in groups of 100, and I was in the third group. The line stretched from the Thai echelon, so over in the back corner in the first order area. That the Thai echelon is the big shuttlecraft that Kylo Ren or the first order officer comes out of for the show. They do the bit, um, interact with the crowd, but the line for lining up for these photos started there, stretched out. So as you're facing the wall, so like you're facing the Thai echelon here, the line went out, went past the restrooms, went around the corner, went all the way up the ramp, and we were maybe about 50, 60 feet from being in Toy Story Land up that back path over there. It was phenomenal. It was so cool getting to see so many people out there. And I chatted up a bunch of people, met some new friends, hanging out, having a good time, sharing my info, trying to get more followers. That's what this trip is about: is trying to do more on social media. Um, so that was a lot of fun lining up, and then they lined us up in front of the Thai echelon, so the shuttlecraft. Um, and they had everybody who was in a mobility device and the short kids. They were all lined up front, and then medium people, and then us big Wookiees they had in the back. Um, so it was fun. So we were lining up, and I was talking with this guy as we were getting mingled into the crowd, and he mentioned, "Oh, I wish I had my lightsaber today." And I looked, and it's like, "Oh, he didn't have a lightsaber." So I was like, "Dude, why not?" And he's like, "I was not expecting to do this." He said, "But when I was walking out to the car to get my Star Wars shirt, because I had one in the car, and my dad told me about this lightsaber meetup." He said, I didn't have my lightsaber with me." So I was like, "Oh, well, here, I'm wielding two. It'd be easier for me just to wield one. Hold on to one for me, you know, raise it up, celebrate." So we hung out for a while. It turns out this guy whose name is Taylor, his father's name is also Robert. So of course, slight bond there. Um, but we had a good time hanging out. We took some pictures, did a little video, all of us raising lightsabers and stuff, and just cheering and yelling and just celebrating our sheer nerdery. But from where we were at, you can also see where the Millennium Falcon is. And what they were doing was they were lining people up in groups of 100 in front of the TIE Echelon. And then they were moving them over to the Millennium Falcon to take another set of pictures over there. So we heard them cheering and yelling and stuff like that. And we are like, okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to love it. And then somebody let slip that they saw Ashley walking into the park. So they knew she was there. That Ashley would be Ashley Eckstein, the one who did the voice of Ahsoka Tano throughout the Clone Wars series. And she was there. Come to find out, apparently she lives like somewhere around here in the Orlando area. That's what somebody told me. I don't know if it's true. I'm not trying to dox her or anything like that, but supposedly she lives relatively close. So whenever they're doing these Ahsoka Tano days down here, she'll actually come out for them. Somebody else in line said that they met her at the Ahsoka Tano Day 2 years ago, and apparently she did the one here and then flew out to California to do the one out there at Disneyland. So that's really cool. That's real dedication to your fans. So we went over to where they lined us up for the Millennium Falcon, and so you have that photo area right in front of where the Millennium Falcon is. So you have the Millennium Falcon here and this open photo area. And then up here, you have the stairs that go up to Doc Ondar's. Back here is the entrance to Smuggler's Run. And then they have the ramp that goes up, but they have this viewing area for stuff that goes on down by the Falcon because they do a couple different shows and things like that. So they had a bunch of photographers up there. They had a bunch of people lined up down at our level. There were just people up against the wall. And as I'm looking at these people over there, as we're getting lined up and getting sorted, I saw Dapper Danielle. And I was like, holy crap, Dapper Danielle is here too. So that was really cool. I tried to get a video of her I was holding the GoPro in my left hand, trying to get as much video of what was going on as I could. Because at least I can get decent video with that in one hand, because my hands tend to shake way too much. But then once we were there, they did like an announcement of thank you for coming out, this, that, and the other thing. Everybody say thank you to, I think his name was Dave, the photographer, who was one of the people who helped organize the whole thing. So we were all yelling things back and forth to him. And then there was like silence and murmuring, and lots of people were looking over in the direction of Smuggler's Run. And suddenly somebody yelled out, "There she is." And a couple people started hooting and hollering. And I looked, and here comes Ashley Eckstein in an orange sweatshirt. I got video of it. I think it said something about being the light or something. I don't remember. I'm having a hard time recalling. But it was cool. And she came out and she announced that, much of her family was there. And her niece, I think her name was Dolly, was there. And her birthday, I guess, is it's the couple days before Ahsoka Tano Day. But she was like, I think she was turning like 3 or something like that. So she asked us if we would mind singing happy birthday for her little niece. Of course we did. Of course we yelled it out in our best voices we could sing for this kid, just to celebrate, all of the camaraderie, all of the coming together as Star Wars nerds. It was really beautiful. It was touching. Then, of course, we took pictures, raising our lightsabers up in the air, hooting and hollering, yelling and screaming. Of course, I was making Wookiee noises in the background. So it was a lot of fun. Then Ashley thanked us. The organizers thanked us. And then they were like, all right, this is the last group. So anybody who is not on the volunteer staff or a cast member, you have to go home, but you can't miss it. So of course, me being the thing, you know, um, and I asked if I could get a picture with her, and she said yes. And I was trying to take pictures. Wait till you see the pictures that I took. They're horrible. I could not get my hand to hold still long enough for us to actually get a halfway decent picture. So I was like, okay, can you do this? And she's like, yeah, let me do this. So she took a couple really good pictures of us. Um, okay, I don't know what the camera is trying to focus in on. So we're going to reset down to default. Probably my hand motions are just throwing it off all over the place. Um, Tracking's back on it. You know what? We're just going to turn that off and leave it neutral. So we took a couple really nice pictures together. Of course, we're screaming and smiling. It was absolutely awesome. So it was a fun night. And then actually on my way out, I wandered up the ramp and I saw a couple guys decked out in some really, really great Star Wars garb. So I started yapping with one of them, and I asked him where did you get your garb, and he told me, he's like, some of it's from Goodwill, and some of it I just kind of cut up and did my own customization work on it. Another guy was like, Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. So, but then I started talking with them, and it turns out that they were actually cast members who work with the PhotoPass department. So they're photographers. And then I asked them if they knew the other photographer that I had become friends with, who we also follow each other on social media, Disney World Caden. He puts out some really good stuff. He takes amazing pictures. And they were like, oh, yeah, we know Caden. We busted his chops for him not coming out to this tonight. Because apparently he worked a long shift today and was exhausted. So he just wanted to go home. But he missed out because it was an awesome time. It was a lot of fun. And Ashley Eckstein and Dapper Danielle were there, and a whole bunch of Star Wars nerds too. I even ran into one of the other Star Wars nerds that I ran into back during our December trip. And we were just kind of catching up a little bit. But it was fun. It was a great time. I just can't stop saying how much fun it was. It was an absolutely amazing night. I'm doing my best to recall everything. And I was talking with another person about costuming, and he said that he got most of his stuff from someone on Etsy. So I tried to get the contact information for that, so that I could get more ideas to actually, not only build myself my medieval garb, but also build out some Star Wars cosplay garb, because if I want to go around and do things like doing videos and acting like a nerd, getting all into it, and I might as well get into it, much like I do with the medieval reenactment. But it's a good time. Been a good time. Has been an absolutely awesome trip. I'm glad that my wife insisted that I go on this trip and not stay home to battle the weather with her. I asked her multiple times, are you sure you don't want me to stay home and shovel or use our power shovel to clear the walkways and the driveway? And she said no. She said, you're really not supposed to be doing that anyway. With as broken as you are, you shouldn't be doing that. She said, go make content. Take pictures, make memories. So that's what I'm doing. By myself. She wanted to come with me, but she doesn't have the vacation time available. She only gets 5 weeks of vacation time a year. We've got 2 big things planned this coming summer. We've got Penzic, which is going to be 2 weeks. And she was just asked to do a very important job that requires a 4-year commitment to going to Penzic. So we're working things out with that, making sure that all the ducks are lined up. I don't want to say what until it's officially announced. And we've also got the DVC members cruise that we signed up for. That's at the end of August, beginning of September, and it's departing from Southampton, England. They say it's departing from London, but it's departing from Southampton, and it's going to Copenhagen, Denmark, and then up to, I think it's Stravansk, Norway, and then back again to England, to UK. So it's going to be I think it's a 7-night cruise. So we're gonna go out a couple days early and visit some museums out there that we really wanted to visit. And then again to hit a couple of places that we want to go to after the cruise. So that's going to be another 2 weeks. So that's 4 weeks of her vacation booked up right there. And then if there's other things we want to do, other things she needs to squeeze in, and especially with what's going on with me health wise, she really wants to have those couple extra days leeway. And if we don't end up using them, then she can still transfer a week of vacation into next year, and then she'll have 6 weeks for 27, which would be absolutely awesome. Anyway, I think the last thing to talk about is yesterday was 1 year anniversary since my dad's passing. And it's been a year. Been a lot of things happening. Had some health scares with me, had some health scares with my mom, had some scares with my wife. A lot of other stressful things. Yeah, it's been a year. For those of you who know me, you know that my dad and I didn't really have the best relationship. But we loved each other. We did talk to each other. We're both very bad at communication. Wonder where I learned it from. We didn't talk often, but when we did, it was good. Our relationship wasn't always that way. I still regret all the time that I missed. But there's nothing I can do to change that. So, as always, the important thing to remember, boys and girls, time is a resource. You never know the balance that you have left. You can only spend it and you can never earn it. We used to say, live long and prosper. We don't all get to live long or prosper. You should live well. You should live adventurously, regardless of how much or how little you have. Find enjoyment in every day. Every day, find yourself an adventure. Whether it's just going to the grocery store, walking around the block, making an adventure. Use your imagination. Imagination. If you know, you know. So, live adventurously, my friends. That concludes this adventure journal. 24 January 2026, although I've been rambling for almost a half hour now and falling apart. Until next time, adventure on.